Hello again, it's another video from Castle Kingdom. On this one we're going to be setting up not a bouncy castle or soft play, but a marquee. This marquee which we've got in here. And we've also got some tables and chairs, carpet on this one, and some heating, no lights. But yeah, it's a 4x6 marquee. I'm going to bring it down the side here and set it up in the garden. So I'm just going to walk down there now with my tape measure and just double check it all. The customer did measure it for me, but I always like to double check. So it's got quite a nice little wide entrance to get the stuff in, so that should be all right. And this is the garden, so it will need to go, I think, long ways. I'll check with the customer. 6 metre one. The marquee's 4 metres by 6 metres. Yeah. I'm just. It can either go that way or that way. This way. Do you want me to? Yeah, if you could, and I'll speak to her, and then you can let me know. Right, well, that's the customer's mother, who's not sure which way she wants the marquee to go. It can go either long ways or sideways, but she's not sure. But obviously, once we start setting this up, or once it's built, it can't be moved. Once there's carpet down and everything, so we do need to get that sort of sorted out before we start. But she's going to ring her mum. She's in a meeting at the school. When she's done that, she'll bring me back and then we'll find out. But in the meantime, I can be getting the stuff in, which is what I'm going to do. Right, let's crack on. Much all of it in now. The tables and chairs we'll leave until we've built the tent, and then we'll bring those in afterwards. Otherwise it just clogs up the area, and we'll keep it nice and tidy. Right, so that's pretty much all the equipment in, except for the tables and chairs, which I'll bring in after we set it all up. Right, so we've got all the stuff over here. We're going to be setting it up long ways. Just spoke to the customer who wants it in my throat. Who wants it set up so they can come out of these patio doors and straight into the tent. So I'm going to set it back about 1 metre from here, just so they can get the doors open. They can step onto there and straight into the tent. Right, let's get cracking. and tight. You can generally see there'll be markings on these, so you can just go around and give them a little bash, make sure they're all in properly. That'll make the canopy sit better. Right, that's pretty much it. Put it nice and tight. If you don't do that, when you're going to put the canopy on the sections on each corner, you'll have to sort of pull them tight, and it can damage the canopy because it's obviously got stitching around it. And if you pull it too tight, it will loosen the stitching, and then you can get leaks into the tent. So always get this nice and tight before you do that, and then the roof section should just drop on top, and you just pull it into place without too much sort of pulling and grunting and groaning. Right. That's pretty much in centre now. What we're going to do next is get the size of the legs on, and then we can work inside it. We can put the two ends on and put the side panels on. Just makes it easier this way rather than bending down. You can work, excuse me, at a reasonable height. So we get our feet from over here. Right, now this is the tricky bit where you do really need two people to do this. We're going to have to lift it up and get these two poles on. Now if there's two people, one can lift it, the other one can put the poles in, or both can lift it with one hand and put one pole on with the other. But in this case, I'm on my own, so I'm going to lift it with one hand. That's why I'm getting these in position, and then just put one in. As soon as you've got one in, it'll hold it, and then you can get the rest in. It's not too bad, it's just that initial one. So you want to be careful on your back if you're doing it on your own, because it can put a lot of strain on it. So two people is always better than one, but sometimes it's not possible. Got these roughly in position. Always leave the holes on the outside because that will pull down these straps here when you're ready. So put them that way, you can turn them when it's already in. So make it easy on yourself. Holes always to the outside. There's one in. Once you get those two in, it's a lot easier. That'll support it, and you can just slide the other two in. Right, that's the centre of the tent there. So we start at the centre with the two ends. Make sure you get it the right way around. On these, I always make sure that it marked up as a 4 metre width tent, so I know when I pick these up I've got the right one, and that always goes to the outside, so it'll go that way. And on these you have a seam that goes facing into the tent. Now you want to make sure you do it the right way around, because when you go to stitch up the sides it won't work if you put it the wrong way around, so you have to go up and turn it around again. And if you haven't got a ladder, that can be very problematic. Bungees. Right, the bungees all on one side. Again, that's the centre of our tent. There. If you had any lights, now'd be the time to put these on if you were going to run them down the centre. Again, you can build the whole frame and then put the lights on afterwards, but you'd be doing it off a ladder. Now, often it's okay, it's fine if you're happy working on a ladder, but if you've got a garden that's a bit uneven and it's in the winter time and it's very soft because it's been wet, the ladder can pitch from one side and you're forever struggling with it. So we always like to be on ground, terra firma. We can get any lights on and do any of this while we got it here. And then once we got these sides on, the sides you'll be able to reach around 2 metres high. But the roof section is about 3 metres, so that's obviously going to be a bit of a problem getting to it. So we've got the 2 end panels on, any lights would be done now, and then we can go around and put the sides on. Right. I might have to pull these a bit tight because it's obviously you pulled that side and you pulled it over, now you're pulling it back again, but it will go. And again, as long as you bash these poles in nice and tight, you won't have to be really pulling at it, because as I say, they've got the seams down here, and the more you pull, the looser they'll get, and eventually you'll get drips coming through, and then you'll have to replace the canopy. Okay, right, so now you've got your canopy on the 2 ends. The next thing is to lift it up into position and put the legs on that side. Now that is the hardest bit on your own because it's got that extra weight now of the 2 ends on it, all the bungees, and it's going to be heavier to get it out. So you need to get around and get positioned if you're on your own, get all your poles where you want them. But ideally, if you can get someone to help you, that would be the best thing to do, because it can be pretty hard on the back. Right, I'm going to get my poles in position and then go around the other side and lift it up. That's the 4x6 tent size of it, so we'll just have a look how we are. We're running off a little bit of an angle here, but we can straighten this up once we get the ground bars on, which will be going on next. Ideally we want this centre of it to the centre of the doors, which it is there. But like I say, we can get the ground bars on. We can also turn these in now, once we've got the structure up. You only need to do this on one side, turn these outside. Obviously when these go in, they're going to be where they need to be. So you can just turn these on and then put our ground bars on, and then we put the 2 sides. Okay, next thing, ground bars. Pull them down one end, make sure they're nice and tight, like that. Now you don't need these ground bars on necessarily, but what it does do, it gives it stability, stops that movement. If you just have the feet coming down, the tent will be doing that if it's really windy. It's not really windy, but it just gives it that stability on the bottom. We will obviously strap this around so that's all fall down to the ground, but that's the basis. And also you can tie when you put the side walls on, the bungees at the top there, and also at the bottom. That just stops everything flapping around and making too much noise. So it's always best to put them on. We always do as standard. Okay, to the other side. Okay, so that's it. We've pretty much got the tent where we want it now. It is running off at an angle, so we want to straighten this up. Best way to do is to line it up with the front of the house. If it's at an angle, push this side forward, or pull this side back. So we're going to have a look at that, see what we want to do. It's always a lot easier to do it with ground bars, as when it will slide a lot better. If you've just got the feet going down, all you'll do is it will dig into the ground and it won't move, and you've got to lift it up manually. Again, you'd need 2 people to do that. So we look at the front of the step. This one's in line with the step, so we want to push that back so it's coming in just slightly behind it. So this one, let's go that way, and that one slightly that way. So we give it a push, and again. So that's now sitting back slightly from the step, as this one is. And it's more straightened it in with the wooden border there, so we can pull this over. And that's pretty much it. We'll bring these around the outside of the hole, like that. What we do is we put one on each end like that, so the hole has 2 panels. This is the inside, this is where the window cover can be rolled up. So these bungees will always be on the inside of the tent, and these holes here to tie it down are always on the inside. So we put one on the end each end, and then we can work and put the others on whilst it's being held in place. Some more bungees. Okay, that's that done. Next thing, I'm going to put the ground sheet down on the carpet. Maybe I should have put the ground sheet down first. My shoes are a bit muddy, but should be alright. It's not too wet, but it is obviously still winter here while we're doing this. Okay, so that's pretty much the tent all built. Carpet's down. I'm just going to nail it all down now, get all these creases out, and that's pretty much it. It's all in position. Just button up against the path there, which is where we want it. So we'll put a line of nails down here. Normally use 6-inch nails on these. That's just enough to hold it. So we do along this edge here, and then we pull it back, and then we do that edge, and then pull it over into the corner. And that will get all the creases out. I'm using 3-inch nails on this. There should be holes already in these. Get them in. Okay, so that's all the tables and chairs in now. 4 tables on this job and 10 chairs, but I've actually supplied 5 more, make it 15, just in case I need the extra ones. So I put 2 heaters underneath the tables here. I've got them on and it is very warm, so they possibly won't even probably need them. I normally leave 3 heaters, but I'd say they'd probably be okay with 2 on, but I'll leave, yeah, 2 are probably enough. It's only a daytime event, it's not an evening. So that's all the tables and chairs in. We've got it all in position. We've run it through the cables for the heaters through there, so they can take them out tonight, lock up their window. They've got the straps on. I'm going to just fix these down now, make it all secure. And then that's it. Pretty much, that's your 4x6 tent. I'm just going to do the straps now. And that's it. It's nice and secure, that won't go anywhere, that tent. So it's all nice and secure now. Tied down. They can drop these down tonight if need be. Very warm in here. Still a little bit muddy now. I don't want to keep walking on it because obviously my shoes are a bit muddy, but obviously I don't want to take them off in case I drop something on my toes. So one of the occupational hazards, a little bit of a hoover. I shall tell her. Run it over with a hoover, it'll be fine. But yeah, it's all on. I'm going to turn the heaters off now because it is very warm now. Don't think they'll need them. Okay, so that's it done. That's the 4x6 marquee set up with the tables and chairs and the carpet. That's pretty much it done. The party's tomorrow and I'll be over the day after to pick it up. So I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something from it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching and bye for now.